Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of our FC26 career mode here with Burnley. We're back today with another big episode. It's been a fantastic start for Burnley in the Premier League, currently sat inside the top four, and we're going to have more big games against the sides around us. We've got Spurs twice in the league, we've got Newcastle, we've got Brighton as well, which is a tough game, and Villa away at Villa Park. So we'll also head into the January transfer window, where I don't think there's going to be major movement, but I would like to get some of our youngsters out on loan, and we may look to bring in one or two signings. But we're kicking off today away from home at Everton at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, and guys, we're still in post commentary for this episode here. From next episode we will be back to the live comms, but yeah, if you didn't see the previous episode, I did explain that unfortunately my audio corrupted in the previous episode and this one, so I've thankfully still got the video feed, but we are having to do a post commentary for the audio. But first game here at the Hill Dickinson, and what about that for a pass, by the way? Hannibal into our number 9, Jorgen Strand-Larsen. How good has he been this season? That is goal number 10 already. I think he only managed 7 in the league last season, and he's already got 10 before we've reached the halfway stage. And I did have a comment saying that I should maybe look to bring in a new centre forward, and I replied to that saying I'm sticking with Jorgen as I've got faith in him, and he's proved this season why I've kept faith in him, because he's been absolutely phenomenal. Doubled our lead on the hour mark and got goal number 11 of the campaign. And I said when I signed him, I think he could be a really, really important player for us and could lead us to future glory. And he's developed really well in the save. I think he's up to 84 overall. Yeah, 84 overall now, and looking like a real handful for Premier League defenders. So a fantastic start to the episode, kicking off with 3 points on the road. But returning back home here against the Tottenham side, just behind us in the table, as they look to get themselves back into the Champions League. And we've been so good going forward this year, but defensively we have struggled at times. And for this goal here, I'm not really sure what I was playing at. Tried to knock the ball back to Beelan and then forward it on to Maxime Esteve, and Beelan's header just dropped straight for Matisse Tell, who raced through and gave us the lead. But we looked to get on the front foot after that goal. This would have been phenomenal from Jaden Anthony, but when it came to the finish, he lashed at it and sent it wide. But a couple of early chances for us looking to get back into the game, and to be honest, we were really good in this first half. Scott dinks the ball into Strand-Larsen, and in the form he's been in, you would have expected him to find the net there, but it was all Burnley after the opening goal from Matisse Tell. Just before the half-time whistle here, we came forward down the right-hand side. We've already mentioned about how dangerous Jackson and Amari Hutchinson have been down that side. Today it was Marcus Edwards on the right, but linking up with Jackson, pulling the ball across, and really for the second time today, Jorgen Strand-Larsen should have found the net and make that a hat-trick. He's quite unlucky with that one, hitting the post and the ball rebounding to Vicario, but I honestly have no idea how we hadn't found the net yet. Jorgen could have had a hat-trick. Vicario had made a couple of good saves, but we'd also missed a fair few chances. And with 15 to play, Hannibal in the area, forcing another save out of Vicario. He was just absolutely phenomenal today. And as we head into stoppage time, I was thinking there might be one final chance for us. Jackson down that right-hand side again, but the ball was just like an absolute magnet to Vicario's gloves in this game. I have no idea how we didn't find a way past him, but Matisse Tell's goal in the first half was the difference between the two sides. As I say, after the goal in the 11th minute, we had all of the play and really should have found an equalising goal and then probably a winning goal as well. But that win for Spurs moved them just 3 points behind us. So I said it in the earlier episodes, it had been a fantastic start, but that's all it had been for Burnley. It's a long, long season, and teams can come from out of nowhere to put a run together for European football or the title, or to keep themselves safe in the Premier League. So you've got to be on it throughout the whole course of the season. You can't just have good spells. And yeah, that loss to Spurs there, although it was a frustrating result, I actually felt like we played all right. So heading into our next game after we accepted a bid for Loom Chuana, who hasn't really featured much this season, taking on Aston Villa away at Villa Park. And I was thinking in this game, we've got to get back to winning ways. We had a good performance against Spurs, but didn't get the result. And I wanted to put things right in our next game. We were on the front foot early. Martinez made 2 really good saves. And then Memphis Depay went close for Villa. But Maxime Esteve, who had scored in the previous episode, I think it was, at the City Ground with a brilliant header, nearly did the same here with his header cannoning off the crossbar, and Emi Martinez reacted quickly to clear. But again, it was all Burnley in this first half, and just after the half an hour mark, that man once again got us in front. It was a really composed goal as well, because Jackson did well down the right. And as he rolled it into him, he could have tried to hit it first time or panicked, but he took his time, got it onto his left foot and placed it past Emi Martinez. So now that we had that goal, I was feeling a little bit more confident. That was the real issue for us against Spurs, is we just couldn't put the ball in the net. And straight from kickoff almost in the second half, we got on the front foot again. We mentioned a few times today Jackson getting forward down that right-hand side, but this time it was Juve down the left, and as he rolled the ball into the middle, it just opened up for Jorgen Strand-Larsen, and he converted his second of the game. And again, we were just on it from minute one, really. Villa from the corner. Ball ends up with Nick Pope. He tried to send us on the break. We got a little bit fortunate with the way it fell back to us, but as Amari Hutchinson rolled through the big Norwegian number 9. Is he Norwegian? Yeah, he is from Norway. Norway or Denmark? It's Norway, isn't it? Big Norwegian forward. Smashed past Emi Martinez to convert his hat-trick, and that was how the game would finish. A really good bounce-back victory from Burnley. But as we get back to the menu, one of the unexpected events coming up, our wages had been leaked, which was pretty interesting. I have to say, I do really like the unexpected events feature. I think it's a pretty cool feature, and it does add something a little bit different when those unexpected events do pop up. But after that, no immediate action, but we saw the sale of Loom Chuana to, I think it was Stade Rennais in France. And we also had a bid for Taiwo Awoniyi from West Ham, which I was considering, but I think I did eventually end up turning it down. But now that we're into January, I did decide to promote some of the youngsters, and my goodness, have we got some phenomenal players. Another potential to be special centre-back out of the academy, the Chilean Pardo, looks absolutely fantastic, and I love the aesthetic on him. He's sort of exactly what I was looking for from Chile. Looks like a really sort of no-nonsense, hard-to-play against centre-back, so going to add him to the loan list and try to get him out before the end of the January window. A couple of other good youngsters as well, and the academy is looking fantastic. I think I mentioned in the previous episode that I'm going to have a season off scouting next year. But yeah, we're absolutely stacked now. After struggling in the first year to pick up many good players, we're now really getting hold of some quality players. But jumping into our next game, it was Brentford at home at Turf Moor, and you guys who have been watching the save will know we've had some cracking games against Brentford since the start of the save, and this looked like it was going to be another one. Brentford on the front foot in the early stages. They had us absolutely penned, and it was a couple of really good saves from Nick Pope, a couple of blocks as well, with Stev getting in the way. But once the game sort of settled down, we started playing our football. We mentioned it in the previous episode, trying to build from the back a little bit more and score those really nice team goals. And that's exactly what we did here. Ball worked into the middle for Alex Scott, who on that box crasher play style, I mean, he is just absolutely phenomenal. Scored the opening goal, and it was quite a tame game after that. It wasn't until the 90th minute when Brentford really gave it a go. Still only trailing by 1. Pope made a really good save, and then from the resulting corner, Emmanuel Omega's header, I'm still not sure if it was going in or not. I think it was, but Josh Cullen on the line was able to get a block in. Thankfully, it fell kindly to Nick Pope, and he was able to gather the loose ball. So we held on for a narrow 1-0 victory, which meant it was back-to-back wins in the Premier League. And after the game, Another unexpected event. I've only got them on medium frequency, but we had 2 in the space of 2 games, and the chairman came to me and said he wanted to see us using a different tactic. I'm not sure why, because we've been absolutely flying this season using the tactic that I'd set up. But in order to keep the chairman happy, and with us facing an EFL side in the cup, I did decide to slightly tweak the tactics for this one. I didn't make many changes, I'll be honest, but I just wanted to keep him happy, as it was an unexpected event that didn't have like an immediate repercussion. But I know that sometimes once you have those, like with the wages being leaked, it can be in the next season or towards the end of the campaign that those repercussions sort of come to fruition. So I did make a couple of changes to the tactic, and whilst it looked like it was going to work, as Jack Rudoni got us in front in the 15th minute, a wonderful goal from the Plymouth number 9 got them back on level scoring, and it wasn't until the second half, where we were still tied at 1 apiece, 5 minutes after the restart, Marcus Edwards, who's been phenomenal in the cup so far this season, was really good in the League Cup in our run to the quarterfinals, where we were knocked out by Liverpool. And now in the FA Cup as well, in his first appearance of the season, getting on the score sheet. And then practically straight from kickoff, we won the ball back off Plymouth, and it was him again, Marcus Edwards, again cutting in off that right-hand side. Very similar to the goals we've seen from Amari Hutchinson in recent episodes, but this time from Marcus Edwards as he bent home our third to give us a 2-goal cushion. But Plymouth did not give up without a fight. Another wonderful goal from the number 9. I think he's a regen, Tolaj, I'm not sure, but he was causing me some real issues. But it came pretty late, and in the end, with the final chance of the game, Zeki Amdouni did round off the victory with a fourth, a lovely little poke into the far corner to give us progression to the next round. So first round of the cup, and although we did concede 2, we made it pretty hard work, but did manage to get through. And I did quite enjoy this after the game, me being linked with the Oxford job after taking Burnley to 3rd in the Premier League. Yeah, not too sure about that, but FA Cup 4th round draw pitted us against Crystal Palace, who have been a bit of a bogey team for us at times throughout the course of the save, as we see Pardo going out on loan alongside Peter Lombardi, the Maltese striker. But yeah, Palace have been a bit of a bogey team. We struggled against them in the first couple of seasons, but I'd say in season 3 and season 4 we've done slightly better against them. So good to see us getting a home tie as well. But I think that game will come in the next episode when we'll be back to our live commentary. But heading into our next game, it's away at Brighton at the Amex. And I said it was a tough game, but they have really struggled throughout the course of the save. Currently sat inside the relegation zone, but it was a really tough game for us. First chance didn't fall until just before half-time, where from a corner, Maxime Esteve went close once again with his header saved by, I think it's Verbruggen in between the sticks, and Jorgen Strand-Larsen couldn't convert the follow-up. But just after the hour mark, 25 minutes to play, we managed to get Jadon Philogene through on goal, and he bent his finish past Bart Verbruggen to give us the lead with what was his first goal in claret and blue. Good to see him getting on the score sheet, because he's not had an electric start to life at Turf Moor. He's done pretty well in terms of assists, but he's not scored too many, so good to see him getting on the score sheet, and I'm hoping he will sort of push on from here. But after the game, we had another few players promoted from the academy, and again, another potential to be special central defender. That is now 3 that we've got in the squad, with Ben Bull, who's out on loan, Pardo, who was promoted and loaned out earlier on in the episode, and now Harrison Draper as well. So we're pretty set at centre-back, and I do think that at some point in the near future we will be looking for a replacement for Beelan. I love Tommy Beelan. He's been a fantastic signing for us, but I don't know what his ceiling is. And yeah, if we can get those youngsters some first-team football next year, if we're playing in Europe, then that will certainly help with their development. But jumping into our next game, it's the penultimate game of the episode, and as I say, guys, we will be back to the live commentary in the next one, so you won't have to put up with me rambling on. But taking on Newcastle, another team just around us in the Premier League. And yeah, they were on the front foot early. It was a really tight game. Both sides were sort of trying to feel each other out. And as Newcastle came forward on what was their first real attack, Pope made a brilliant save. But how about that for a finish from Malik Thiaw? What a wonderful goal, as Bruno Guimaraes played it into the middle, and he just sort of nonchalantly flicked it over his head past the former Newcastle man Nick Pope to give Newcastle the lead. But in the second half here, I was just really struggling to create anything. You'll see every time I got the ball forward, we just gave it away. I couldn't build anything, and Newcastle really had us penned. And as Joe Willock picked up the ball, played it into Sorloth, it was lovely sort of 1-2 touch passing as Joe Linton slid through Elanga, and he got a little bit fortunate with the finish. Pope made a good initial save, but the ball rebounded back to the Swede, who converted into the open net for his, I think that was 13th goal of the season, having a really good campaign at the Geordies. From there on out, Newcastle just controlled the game. We couldn't get back into things, and that win did see them leapfrog us back into second place. But it's so tight from sort of first down to sixth, so it's anyone's guess who's going to finish in the Champions League and Europa League spots. But we managed to loan out another of the youngsters who we just promoted. That was Sands, who went out on loan to Poland, and he also has potential to be special. I said we struggled in the first couple of seasons, or really season one, but I have to say, in the last 2 years, we have found some absolutely wonderful youth players. So he is going to head out on loan to Poland for the remainder of the campaign. And I decided that with the money we had left in the budget, I would make a signing. And it was Alexander Prass, who was currently with Ipswich in the Championship. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the stats from last year, but I know he had a really good campaign for the Tractor Boys in the Premier League. No one had come in for him, currently still playing in the Championship, so I decided to pick him up. He's sort of the perfect utility man. He can play left back, he can play central midfield, and he could probably do a job out wide as well, on either the left or right hand side as more of a defensive piece. And I actually think coming in, I'll probably deploy him more as a central midfielder coming in for Alex Scott, because I don't really have another box-to-box midfielder who can come in if Scott gets injured or needs a rest. We've obviously got Cullen, who's more of a holder, a DLP, whereas I think Prass is perfect for the box-to-box role. So he comes in, and whilst I do keep him as a left-back for now, I did consider maybe moving him to a centre midfielder, but we close out the episode against Tottenham, who we obviously played at home in the second game of the episode. And again, it was a really tight game. It wasn't until the 55th minute where Tottenham got a little bit fortunate from a short free kick. They kept the ball well, worked it inside, but Matisse Tell did give them the lead after his goal at Turf Moor. He's now scored in both fixtures against us. But this time, unlike against Newcastle, we were able to fight back, and it was Alexander Prass on his debut off the bench getting an assist from that midfield role as he slipped through Amari Hutchinson, who finished from quite a tight angle to rescue a point for us. So it is now no wins in 2 in the Premier League, but against 2 pretty tough opposition, I will take the point against Tottenham. And after the game, we did head into transfer deadline day. Obviously, we just signed Prass. I was trying to get a few more of the youngsters out on loan, but couldn't negotiate any loan agreements. But what I did do is sit down with Leslie Ugochukwu and offer him a new deal. I think he only had 18 months left on his deal, so managed to give him a new contract as we take a quick little look at the loan watch, the players out on loan, as that will do it for transfer deadline day. Quite a quiet one, other than Arda Güler heading to Liverpool from Real Madrid. But that is where we will close out today, guys. Again, apologies for the post commentary as you see a look at the Premier League table and how tight it is. Next episode, we will be back with the live commentary. It is just unfortunate that we lost the audio for these 2 episodes, but as a bonus, there will be some double uploads at the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So I hope you guys do enjoy, and I will catch you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon. Take care and peace.